All right, welcome back to LJT MTG, and today Liam and I have a spicy one for you. We are playing, well, I'm playing Green Red Blitz, and Liam is playing Jeskai, Heroic, enchantments, etc. Um, so I'm just going to move right into my deck tech, and then I'll do Liam's deck tech, and we'll let the games speak for themselves. But they were pretty interesting, and I think both decks are like really on the cusp of being there. I know that Green Red Blitz is something that a lot of other people play in a bunch of different flavors. This is my take on it, and I don't know if it's necessarily correct. I'm not as practiced with the archetype as some of the other pilots might be. But I wanted to give it a shot, given that I've played it historically in the past, as well as it got a couple of new Final Fantasy cards that I'm really excited to try out in the archetype. So for my deck tech, it's pretty straightforward. Let's move this to the visual spoiler here. So my points are Mox Emerald, Mox Ruby, Strip Mine, Minsk and Boo, Ren and 6, and 4th Aerlingus, but I thought this was a green-red deck. I'm splashing white for the +1/+1 on Wild Nacatl, the extra fetch lands that gives you, and also 4th Aerlingus. So I'm playing these two really good planeswalkers. It's possible that Red and 6 isn't correct, but I felt like this deck could use a couple of extra lands better than, say, previous iterations of Green Red that I've played before. So we're playing these two planeswalkers, and then we've just got our classic creature suite. I'm gonna move this into mana value. Oh, let's do this. Okay, so our creature suite is pretty classic, except we've added two new creatures into the mix from Final Fantasy. Saz's Chocobo. This is also another reason I wanted to try out Ren and 6. I think a turn 1 Saz's Chocobo into a fetch land, getting you a 2/3. This deck is pretty hungry for creatures that are 2 power with more than 1 toughness. We are playing some 2/1 creatures like Embereth Veteran, but for the most part, if your creature has 1 toughness, there needs to be a pretty big reason for it. Because we're running so many pump spells, etc. You don't want to get blown out by Orchestra Masters or your opponent's opposing Ren and 6, etc. So the creatures that have 1 toughness are ones that have different inherent synergies, like Cacophony Scamp here. Really good with pump spells, so that's why we're playing it. Same with Heartfire Hero. Yes, it's a 1/1, but it grows into a 2/2 and beyond. Paw Patch Recruit, it has Trample, which is a big deal, as well as it is a play on 3 that gives us 2 bodies, and sometimes bodies is really all you need with the amount of pump spells that we're playing. But yeah, we're even playing still Rakdos Cackler. It might be wrong, but I don't hate it. So we're playing Saz's Chocobo, and then the second new creature is Tifa Lockhart, and this one's really exciting. So it's a 2-mana 1/2 trample, and whenever a land you control enters, it doubles Tifa Lockhart's power. So if you play Tifa Lockhart on turn 2, and then you play a pump spell on turn 2, or turn 3 rather, and then play a fetch land, Tifa's power goes from, let's say you played Monstrous Rage and gave Tifa 4 power. If you play a fetch land and then crack it and get another land, Tifa attacks for 16 that turn. So Tifa kind of reminds me of like when Slickshot Show Off came out, in terms of like changing the deck's explosiveness and how fast it can kill you out of nowhere. It's possible that if you were looking to win with green red just as an archetype, and you weren't looking to play like more of a blitz deck, that you wouldn't be including Tifa or Slickshot Show Off, and you'd play like a more streamlined, or sorry, not streamlined, but you play like creature threats that are like better on their own, quote unquote, like they don't need as much setup to pull off. But since we're playing Blitz, these creatures are kind of like best in slot creatures. Like they're just going to be good, generally speaking, no matter what, and they allow us to win game boards and positions that other cards don't allow you to win with. So rounding out our creature suite, we've got a couple of 3-drops. I decided to put Carnage Interpreter and Gut in this deck. Gut because the 4/1s like, not that you ever really want to sack that many of your creatures, but we are playing a decent amount of baubles and other artifacts. But also, like, your opponent is so incentivized to try and block these 4/1 menaces, even if you make one and they kill your gut, they still really want to block that 4/1. And since we have these pump spells, I think it just like makes sense. And then Carnage Interpreter I felt like including because the body itself is actually really strong with pump spells. And a lot of the time you can get into positions where you're pushing damage with creatures, you cast your pump spells, and your hand is generally speaking empty, and so Carnage Interpreter is just like less of a liability. Whereas like a lot of the time in other lists that you might play, you might not consider Carnage Interpreter because it like the risks and the downsides outweigh the positives of the card. Like maybe your mana base, or sorry, your mana curve is like a little more expensive, and that's where this card doesn't really shine. But this deck is generally speaking pretty low to the ground. 34 creatures is reasonable. It's a little more like 36 because you have Minsk and Boo at the top end, and then you also have another new card I haven't gotten to play in this deck yet, Core Steel Cutter. But yeah, this is it. It's just guys and pump spells. It's so sick. I love this deck. The last new card is Opera Love Song. This card is just excellent, I feel. It is a little worse than Reckless Impulse and Reckless Impulse and Ren's Resolve in some ways, because it says that those cards exile until your next end step, meaning that if you cast Opera Love Song on your turn, it does not allow you to like bank those cards until the next turn, whereas Reckless Impulse and Ren's Resolve do that. So there are definitely moments where it can be awkward, but being able to give 1 or 2 target creatures +2/+0 on top of having a spell that can start to dig you through your deck in the middle or the late game, I think is really powerful and is basically an auto include. To round that out, we're just playing the best pump spells. Unfortunately, I cut Berserk. Maybe it isn't even green-red Blitz if you're not playing Berserk, but I just don't know if you necessarily need it at this stage. I wanted to try the deck without it, especially since removal is so good these days. Berserk is definitely more of a liability, and if you're playing Berserk, you have to play more of like the Blossoming Defense style cards, which can be okay, but generally speaking, I find them to be a little bit awkward on your mana. That's why I'm only playing the best one, but I'm not playing like Vines of Vastwood or Royal Treatment or Snakeskin Veil. But yeah, excited to get into it. Let's blitz them out, baby.
Hello. Welcome to the deck tech for a deck I've been brewing for a while. I'm pretty excited about. This is Blue, White, Red, or Jeskai Heroic. This deck got a couple of new exciting cards with Final Fantasy, which is what kind of finally pushed me over the edge to finish kind of brewing it and getting some cuts done so that I could actually play it. I'm really excited to be playing it today. This is actually Heroic as a whole is one of, if not my favorite archetypes maybe ever. I played like the Blue-White Heroic deck in Theros Standard like more than 10 years ago at this point. I've qualified for an RC playing Blue-White Heroic in Pioneer, which is not a real deck for those wondering at home, but Trent and I worked on it a bunch, and it especially during the Black-Red Phoenix kind of heyday metagame attacked the, and when Mono Green was really popular as well, it attacked that metagame really well. In particular, you would do things like put Illuminator Virtuoso in play on turn 2, backed up with like a Skrelv or a Selfless Squire, like the dog that can sacrifice to give your creature indestructible. And then you could pump this up to potentially basically like 20 your opponent on turn 3 or 4, which was pretty fun. So that's the general game plan of this deck too, actually. You're just looking to develop some kind of heroic threat or threat that grows. We've got a couple of ones that don't technically have heroic, but still work the same way. So like, you know, your kind of ideal draw involves something along the lines of put like Satyr Hoplite in play on turn 1, or Optimistic Scavenger, maybe Laguna Band Trailblazer, one of these kinds of cards. Favorite Hoplite, obviously the classic. And then you've got these enchantments to pump up the creatures and trigger Heroic. And there are kind of two schools of thought for how to trigger Heroic. One is that you can play things like Defiant Strike and other pump spells. And then the strategy that I've found a little bit better is to play the enchantments. And the reason for that is that you actually get some big hitters when you do that. In particular, the really obvious one is like you get ethereal armor, and now we have all the glitters as well, and we even have the nice strength from the harvest, or strength of the harvest, which is a dual land, but then also is a ethereal armor effect on the other side, which is not bad at all. So general game plan involves developing a threat, putting some enchantments on it, and then you're kind of playing a like Protect the Queen style strategy after that. So you've got like Mother of Runes, Giver of Runes. These are effects that are being used to protect the creature ahead of time. They're arguably the best way to do it because it allows you to jam enchantments with impunity. But then also you have some interactive spells that are trying to prevent getting blown up by removal. So things like Slip Out the Back are pretty nice. This is nice too because it fades wrath effects. You can just phase out for a wrath effect, which is pretty cool. We also have Loran's Escape. This is a pretty powerful one. Giving hexproof means that you can beat white removal, which is a relevant thing. If you only give indestructible, which some of these cards do, you run into problems with white removal. I also have effects like Flickering Ward. This is a sweet one that you could actually use to re-trigger Heroic as well. If you're in a kind of a grindier game, like for every 2 mana, you can reset what color Flickering Ward is protecting from and also re-trigger Heroic, which is not nothing. There's a little bit of tension there where you can't put the protection on the aura that on the color of some auras that are on it. So like protection from white is not a color you get to pick super easily, but other than that, it's pretty good. The best threats in this deck are, unsurprisingly, like Illuminator is maybe the best one. This is one of the ones that only technically has Heroic, but it's very good because it just naturally has Double Strike. You also really like the creatures that draw a card every time you cast an aura. So SRAM is excellent. Similarly, Storm Chaser Drake, drawing a card every time you target it with something, is really good too. And one thing you'll notice about my selection of auras is I only chose ones that met one of two criteria. They either needed to cost 1 mana, so yeah, we have all the 1 mana ones here, Ethereal Armor being the best, and then you have a bunch of other random ones. Ideally, they're doing something like Giving Evasion, with like the case of like Griff's Boon and Fly. Wingspan Stride is just Fly, but slightly better even. Or sorry, Arcane Flight, but slightly better even because it can return. Or Aqueous Form. These are all ones that like give evasion, maybe give a little bit of power. Shard Mage's Rescue is nice because it's a protection spell at the same time. Or we have the Curiosity effects in the deck. So we have like Combat Research, Curiosity, Curious Obsession. These cards are really powerful because they replace themselves on first attack. And then if you're playing a 2 mana aura, it has to meet one of two criteria. Criteria number one is it cantrips, and you'll notice there's a lot of the ones here that do cantrip, like Rune of Flight cantrips, Demonic Ruckus cantrips slowly, but it does. Or we really wanted ones that interact with the board or let you kind of punch through. So like Sheltered by Ghosts is so good because it's a removal spell, and Ward 2 is actually sneaky, maybe the best keyword in the format. Ward is super, super powerful. It just really disrupts the way that people want their removal to interact with you. Similarly, the other type of 2 mana spell that we play a lot of is, or 2 mana aura we play a lot of, are the ones that give hexproof. So like Cradle of Safety is great. The even better one is Fey Flight, which gives hexproof and then also provides evasion on the back end. This is awesome. They have flash. We also have like Dog, Umbra. A note, because this is going to come up in the games. I'm recording this after we played. This card is actually bugged on Magic Online pretty annoyingly. So the way this should work is that it's pacifism if you cast it on your opponent's creature. It makes them unable to attack or block. And if you cast it on your creature, it's just an Umbra Armor. An Umbra Armor basically says, if the creature would be destroyed, destroy this aura instead. So that's going to come up in this video. You'll see we navigate it the best we can. But this card in paper, great. I'm going to have to remove it from future Magic Online events I play just because, yeah, it is currently bugged. But yeah, other than that, I'll talk quickly about the Final Fantasy cards that are in the deck because there are some sweet ones. The first one is Protection Magic. This is actually the card that I was most excited to include in this deck and push me over the edge. This is a super powerful protection spell because you get to cast it on multiple creatures, which is great. You're triggering more than one instance of heroic, very strong. And then also the shield counters are very powerful because it's something that you can do ahead of time. So if you are holding this up and your opponent just taps out for a creature and you don't want your mana to just be wasted, you can just cast protection magic to protect your creatures, grow them, and those shield counters stick around. So you could just still get the benefit of the shield counters. You don't necessarily get like the blowout potential, but it's still, I think, really, really powerful. The second Final Fantasy card that I have included in this deck is Lightning Army of One. This card, I think, is just very aggressive, which is pretty sweet. Doubling damage is obviously a very powerful effect, and this is a deck where we're already going to have evasive threats that are ideally hitting for like 5 or 6. So you can imagine situations where if lightning ever connects, the game probably just ends. And then also lightning herself wears auras pretty well. Like if you can give this creature flying, or if you're making this creature unblockable, which my deck has a number of avenues to do, obviously like that's going to be great as well. And then lastly, I've got VV Orniteer, which is kind of an interesting one. It doesn't technically have heroic, but it just says non-creature spell. So every time you cast an aura, VV grows. VV can wear the auras just fine, and VV likes having their power increased, so that you can activate the activated ability. I mean, we have a lot of white mana in this deck, I'll be honest. So like the blue and the red is maybe not quite as valuable as it could be, but I think it's still quite good. And notably, we do have a sweet little combo in this deck, unlikely to come together super frequently, but if you assemble VV plus Curiosity, you are really off to the races. I had a Phidian Eye in this deck originally, the 2 and a blue instant speed Curiosity effect. It's the only other one that works this way, and I cut it because 3 mana is too clunky. But yeah, so those are the Final Fantasy cards in the deck. Very excited about them. Lastly, tying the room together, you've got a couple of counter spells, a couple of removal spells. We have to have like a modicum of respect for what else is going on. But yeah, general game plan: go fast, be resilient with protection spells, and you also secretly draw a lot of cards in this deck. So you're not so all in that if you do get one of your creatures destroyed that you're just going to lose the game. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the games. They're really sweet. Trent's also playing a sweet Final Fantasy deck with some new Final Fantasy cards. So hopefully you enjoy it. And yeah, if you want to see more of this deck, I love it. I'm going to be playing it a lot. So the question is just whether I'm going to be playing it on videos for you guys or just by myself. All right. Thanks so much.
I'm going to get you to send me the challenge. Oh, you've already got it.
Yeah.
You know,
I had it
know
up.
my grift.
All right. Good luck.
It's
Good
too
luck
easy.
muting for mulligans.
Yeah. Good luck.
All right. So I've won the die roll, which is great. This deck definitely wants to go first. And this is pretty close to, I mean, it's not the nuts because it's not a mox draw, but this hand is awesome. I go Mother of Runes into Illuminator, which is protected by Mom. And then we'll have Illuminator Virtuoso. We'll get to cartouche shit, start to get in there. So this is how you draw it up. The Laguna Band Trailblazer is like whatever, it's surplus to means for now, but we could find a spot for it.
Also, Liam and Jer always mute for mulligans, and I never do. So that's like another grift I've got going on. So we're here with Red Green Blitz. I should have said that in the intro, but I'm splashing white for the old Nakatol. I think I'm going to keep this one. This coming in tapped is a little awkward, but like, whatever. The hand itself is playable, so we kind of have to keep those. Liam wins the die roll.
Hello.
What up?
My die roll winning is very good for this deck, I think.
Mother of Runes.
This deck definitely wants to win the die roll.
Oh.
Colorless.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Ooh. All right. Are you interested in blocking? No.
I'm not. I was interested in potentially killing your Mother of Runes, but it turns out that I wasn't able to do that. So
I see. All right, I'll get a Volcanic Island. I'm gonna play Illuminator Virtuoso.
Oh no.
I
Mother
know.
runes into Illuminator? This guy's living the actual dream.
Yep.
What the hell?
I looked at my opening hand and thought, "Yep, we can work with that one."
We can make do.
Yeah.
Huh. Like, how do I win? I guess is a good question. I think I'm just supposed to do this. The old no respect
Oh wow.
slick shot
Okay.
show off.
Yep. Sounds good.
I can't even attack. Well, actually, no, I can't attack because of Mother of Runes. I guess I could have
Yeah.
attacked pre-combat and, like, maybe you
Yeah.
respect.
It made me think about it.
Yeah, but then I don't get the one in from the slick shot.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know.
Um. Well, this is actually a little awkward. I guess I start. Ugh. Yeah, I guess I just start with this. No, no. Hold on, hold on. All right, no, I will shock this in. This is better. It's a little weird, but I got a Cartouche of Knowledge, the Illuminator Virtuoso.
Sure.
I'll discard Laguna Band Trailblazer. Draw a card. And then I will Ethereal Armor my
Holy crap. This
my
is like have you ever did you ever experience this when you were a newer Magic player where like someone's like, "Oh, I want to test out a deck," and like you're very new to Magic
yeah.
and then they play against you and they do something like this and it's like, "Did you stack your deck?" You know
Yeah,
what I
like
mean?
you just have
Like
to you're just like wondering like surely this has to be cheating.
like you had the nut perfect. You didn't attack. Interesting.
I
Uh
think the way that I lose this game is
is you just
by
get blown out by like triple
yeah,
spell here.
Slickshot could do a lot of damage. Like
That's true. Um So the question is, I have to ask myself, how do I win the game? So you're asking yourself, how do I lose? I need to figure out how I win. Twin Blade
yep,
Blessing
yep.
is ham as hell. I love it.
Yeah,
Let's see here.
it's a sweet one for sure.
Okay, I think it's this,
Ooh, scary.
and I'm just passing.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
I think I have a line, but it's kind of funny because now we're in this weird staring contest. Although you have the initiative, so
No,
and a
I
Mother
don't.
of Runes.
Oh yeah. I was like, I don't have the initiative. What is he talking about?
I'm not blocking. If I
Fair,
die, I die.
fair enough. Yeah. Man. So I actually drawing this fetch land was kind of huge for me because it lets me go get basic mountain so that I can chain to the rocks your slick shot show off and not get blown out by this
Interesting.
onboard wasteland.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I don't think I have a way out now. Actually, I have. No, I don't think I do, but might as well.
Oh, I could have done this pre-combat and you could have been at 3 now that I think about it.
Why?
Fourth.
Oh,
Because
Ethereal Armor.
Chain to the Rocks pumps up Ethereal Armor. Yeah. So it's
Fourth
plus
Soul
plus 2
Scar.
damage.
That's definitely not what I need. Alright, you got me. We go game 2. This time, I try. I hope you don't have like a potentially
protection creature into best creature in my deck. Into Ethereal Armor that if there is only one of.
For context for the viewer, Liam and I have played a lot of blue-white heroic, and Illuminator Virtuoso is so busted. It's it's like very clearly the best creature in your deck, and it's not really.
I talked about it in the deck tech, but I qualified for an RC playing this deck in Pioneer, and yeah, Illuminator is just a disgusting card.
It's so
all right.
good.
I gotta definitely talk about my mulligan real quick.
Yeah. I didn't talk about my first mulligan. I just kind of instantly shipped it back. It was just one land and not enough interaction or pressure. sometimes you keep one landers in this deck, uh, depending on like the makeup and contents of the hand. Like it's like usually pretty threat specific, etc. But because of the presence of pump spells, this deck's actually pretty hungry for mana, so you can't just keep one landers for free.
I think this is a sweet one. The Force of Will is kind of nice emergency, like an emergency valve. I'm probably gonna hold the Bloodstained Mire for a little while. Just play the Spire Bluff plus the Seachrome to start with. I might have to hold the Arcane Flight for Force of Will, but just going like Brigone into Lightning seems pretty exciting. I get to see whether Lightning is any good. So yeah, gonna keep. Hello.
Hello.
You mulligan to one lander?
I did.
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed
This deck is kind of the same way. Like, even though you're an aggro deck, like, you deceptively want to hit your 4th land way more than you would think you do.
The question is, what do I bottom? I think I'm gonna get rid of this Hex Drinker.
Oh,
I don't care if you know about that one.
Yeah, you're figuring that's not what this game is about.
No, I feel like I feel like I'm not gonna get the chance to pay 8 mana for Hex Drinker in most games. Would be my general assumption.
Yep.
And I think Kumano faces Kakazan is just a little better.
Fair enough.
I was kind of trying to decide between which one drops I wanted to keep, you know. Favorite hoplite. All right.
The hops.
The hops. Let's get a Plateau.
Oh yeah. Actually, sorry, I saw 4th. That makes sense.
Yeah,
You're not kicking it, so it doesn't. It's just a 3/2. Okay.
Well, it's a 4.
Or 4/3 because of Kumano.
Yeah.
All right. Still fine.
Yeah, I'm splashing white for Wild Nicodle and 4th.
Ooh.
Because I wanted extra fetches for Tifa, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Wild Nicodle on the splash is like a pretty funny thing to say out loud.
Card is sick. I've never seen this. There's a new heroic creature.
The newest printed heroic creature.
Wow.
I think it's very good.
This card seems really good. What the heck?
And what's kind of nice is that, like, because my deck is so based around using enchantments to trigger heroic, you don't mind chucking away a counter here and there in order to draw
because
some cards if you
your
need to.
enchantment still has like a basic effect that you're taking advantage of. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I think I have a pretty good one coming down this turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna force that.
Oh, you have force. I see.
Yeah, I have to have like some respect for the fact that combo decks exist.
I like it because, like, also with heroic, a lot of the time, like, the thing that matters is just you counter their removal spell or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So I think you kind of have to do it, or you kind of have to play the forces. Maybe Force of Negation is more arguable. Like, it's possible that you're not supposed to be playing Force of Negation because it doesn't work on your own turn.
Yes.
But Force of Will definitely has to make the cut. And it's Fawn probably still makes the cut, too, would be my guess.
I mean, you know, free information. I do have Force of Negation in the deck, too. I also just think, like, some consideration for the combo decks. Also, new card sighting, Lightning, Army of One.
Yeah, this one seems really good. First strike,
does look strong
is pretty
here.
good. In
this matchup. Yeah. I was hoping to give it flying with my Arcane Flight that I had to pitch.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's okay. You didn't get to have it all.
Yeah, literally it all.
This turn's pretty interesting for me. First strike is a big deal.
Yeah.
And wow, this is really complicated. I think I'm supposed to play this land and play this Emberheart Challenger.
Okay. Makes sense. That's a card that actually isn't in my deck, like the Valiant
creatures, like
effects,
the Heartfire heroes and stuff.
Because they only trigger once, and there's actually like I think that there's enough times where that's gonna matter. I don't know. I haven't fully decided yet.
Like, there's enough turns where you like really wanted that second trigger for whatever reason. That's kind of what you're
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah, exactly. So, okay, what do my attacks look like here? I attack, you double block with Kamano and Emberheart Champion maybe, or Iconoclast, and I'm trading my lightning for one creature. Feel like I can do better than that. I'm gonna play this Arena of Glory, and I'm gonna play this Laguna Pan Trailblazer.
Holy. I
Yeah.
do love that there's like more and more random heroic creatures being printed. I think that's actually kind of sweet.
Yeah, I think that this deck is like getting increasingly more real. Like every time you get to take a completely embarrassing card out of your deck for a card that actually has text, it's obviously very good.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is pretty strong.
So I could have Aloe Alchemisted last turn to attack with my Yavimaya Iconoclast, but I actually think I'm supposed to just like hold it to get this
Yeah.
Emberheart trigger. Because like if I hit a pump spell off the Emberheart trigger, then I actually get to like start attacking
Yeah,
with
like,
my creatures if I haven't drawn anything.
yeah.
So
I mean, you can even attack with the Ember Heart this turn. It's like,
I can. It's a little risky because like if you have some sort of protection spell or pump spell, like
yeah, it's a little scary.
you know, I always think of it's like 1 mana +1/+1, and it has Stride. I think it's called a Johnny's
Strive.
or
Yeah.
a Johnny's like presence or something, or I don't know what it's called. But like I always think of that card when I think of heroic because it was in that like
Yeah. In the standard deck.
in the standard deck. Yeah. Now do I play
Which was
Dreadhorde
also
Arcanist?
blue-white.
Or do I play this other card and get in with the team? Man,
Feels like if you have, yeah,
Dreadhorde is just so bad here because he doesn't do anything.
you really can't
Uh,
attack on this board. Yeah.
I think I have enough respect for your one card that I'm just gonna play the Arsonist or
Yeah.
Arcanist, Arsonist. I do think I am supposed to attack with Emberheart Challenger here.
I think that's right.
I think if you like blow me out with some sort of
But if I have a pump spell, it's blowing you out on my attack too. So like,
I also feel like I'm kind of at the point where like a pump spell is going to be really hard for me to like take advantage of. You know what I mean? Based on the
yeah.
context of the game in my hand. So,
All right.
or you could just be land heavy.
We'll attack like this.
Dude, this Arcanist is just blocking. He's so bad.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go for Dog Umbra.
Holy.
Get a heroic trigger. Hmm.
That's so weird.
Wait,
It
is
says
this
it
card
can't
bugged on
attack or
Magic
block.
Online? I'm so confused. As long as another player
Uh,
controls enchanted creature, it can't attack or block. Otherwise, this aura has Umbra armor. But my Dragon is saying can't attack or block. That's wrong, right?
well, it should be able to attack and block. Yeah, hold on.
I think it's a bug. Anyway, I'm gonna draw a card here.
I mean, I'm curious if you'll be able to attack or block in the future.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you also shouldn't have drawn a card. You should have waited for damage and then
I don't
drawn,
know.
right?
Because lightning makes it so that I deal double damage.
What the hell? Permanent?
Permanence, yeah, it's just your
Holy.
cards deal double damage.
What
Yeah,
the hell? If
yeah,
lightning hits. If lightning hits.
yeah. Lightning has to connect, but yeah, if lightning connects,
Alright. Well, let's just play
all right.
this guy before I forget about him.
It looks like I'm getting whomped here, and Dog Umbra is maybe bugged. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I guess we'll see.
Let me know in the comments if I am reading this card wrong.
No,
but,
I'm reading it right now. It says as long as another player controls enchanted creature, you control that creature. Otherwise, it has Umbra armor.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna throw this favorite hoplite under the bus for Oh wait, that has trample for the sake of two life. I think it's potentially going to matter.
Yeah, you kind of like you're kind of in the position where I think you just have to assume I don't have anything that really interacts with your lightning, and you're gonna get to keep it around.
I hope so, at least. Which I'm wrong, unfortunately, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
think you're like kind of forced into that position regardless,
No,
though.
no, I have to make that play for sure. Curd ape. What did
Also, if
you drew two cards because you had you oh I see, you had the Curd ape last turn and then you drew the Scorching Shot this turn
I had Scorching Shot last turn, but I decided to play Arcanist instead
instead of,
because
because you were playing around protection spell.
I was playing our protection spell, and also I can only play Arcanist on the turn that I trigger Emberheart, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah. You wanted to get the
I'm
card
leaving a
while you
card.
could.
Yeah, not that card advantage is necessarily what I'm always looking for, but this matchup feels like it can devolve into like kind of the grind fest, you know?
Okay, so this is unfortunate because I think this is actually going to end up mattering a lot because I'm 90% sure that this Brigone not being able to attack him or block is real. Like, that's true, which means that
Wow,
now,
Sheltered by Ghost is an insane draw here if your guy
yeah,
can
except I
attack.
don't get to attack with my 4/3 lifelinker because of the
Well,
bug.
let's see when you go to combat if that's the case. I'm hoping it isn't, but
It is the case. Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks because that's definitely bugged, right? Like we both
That's for
agree.
sure bugged. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put a feather flight on my Lagoda Band Trailblazer and play this land and say go and die,
I'm
right?
gonna hold on. Let me see what I'm gonna draw, because I think if this turn you were able to attack with your guy,
Like if we assume that I'm at 8 instead
and
of
I'm at 8,
4, yeah.
then this Trailblazer, uh, I attack. It kills my Emberheart Challenger. You go to. No. I guess you probably block Yavimaya Iconoclast and just take
I would
4.
block Yavimaya Iconoclast, but
Okay, so then you would go to 4, and I would play this Burning Tree in my hand, and then you would attack me again.
and I can tell you
Except it
that
would be
I
attacking
drew
for
Curious
3.
Obsession off the feather of flight, so I would be killing you because I would just be Curious Obsessioning the Lagona and hitting you for 4. All right, well, I got to concede because it is what it is, and we'll play a game 3 because the people deserve a game 3. But
Yeah,
I'm chalking
sure.
this one up
Yeah,
as a
we'll
as a
we'll give you the W on that one for sure. That creature is really good because like the with heroic, it's like when you want the damage, the 1/1 counter matters a lot, and when you don't want the damage, like you're so stoked to just be drawing
to
cards
just
off your
find more
random
action.
enchantments.
100%,
Like
100%.
that's actually so good.
All right.
I'm really impressed by that card.
I was super impressed by it too. That's the first game I've actually had it. All right. I'm gonna deafen to talk about mulligans for a second. I will tell
Yep.
you that Dog Umbra is in my hand again, so it's definitely a mulligan.
Oh,
All right, so yeah, we'll get this Dog Umbra out of here. That's a shame. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm reading this card wrong, but I am 99% sure this card reads: if it targets something that they control, it's a pacifism, and if it targets something you control, it's Umbra armor. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I can't read. This is another mulligan. So this is the one risk with this deck is that you can kind of implode a little bit. Ooh, all right. Well, we're going to be keeping this one because we've got the VV. So let's keep this. We're going to get rid of Flickering Ward, which is a hot one. And I think I'm going to get rid of Feather Flight. I think Combat Research is a little bit better. God, I wish I got to keep 2 of these, but do I think I'm going to be able to, I'm going to get rid of Feather Flight. Because also if I draw a cheaper creature, I want to be able to Combat Research it up earlier.
well, I mean, the Dog Umbra can make it so that one of my creatures can't attack or block, which is pretty good. So it's not the worst. Actually, pacifism isn't like the worst card in this matchup, because like if I play Rancor or something on a creature, then like I'm deafening because I actually think it might come up here. Um, so if Liam keeps Dog Umbra, and like I wouldn't play around it, so like I would go fetch Heath, get Taiga, play Curd Ape, untap, probably strip mine Liam, and then play Audacity on Curd Ape and attack. But uh, if I know about the Dog Umber, then I can't do that because it's gonna be a pacifism. So
All right. Well, the cards never lie. I may be just dying here anyway.
oh, you went to 5. Holy, yeah.
Yes.
Reroll. Uh, I was saying that Dog Umber is kind of funny in this matchup because like it. If I put like a Rancor on something, you can just like Dog Umber it, and you get to like 2 for 1.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's just
Which is
pacifism
like,
when it targets something else.
which is kind of sick.
Yeah.
I guess I'll hit up a. How long has it been since you've seen this one in play in Highlander?
Oh, hell yeah. Well, last game is the answer.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I love Curd Ape. Guy is so sick.
This could be a fast game.
Yeah, I think it might be. With the old strip mine, your
Oh
Hallowed
no,
Fountain,
not like this.
play a Hex Drinker.
Yeah, that's quite good.
But yeah, you for sure win that game. We can chalk that one up to a Liam W. And we're just getting a bonus 3rd game for the viewer.
Yeah.
Since this matchup is pretty fast,
Yeah,
I would say. I think my guess is that you're probably slightly advantaged, but really it probably just depends on the play draw. Like, mostly because you have the lifelink enchantments and lifelink creatures, but then you also have similar, like, aggressively slanted power level. I guess we're just getting in.
Ooh, Tifa.
New Tifa.
Yeah.
This card is so sick in this deck. Like,
all right, I have another new card, but unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna do anything in this game.
Oh, does this say non-creature?
Yep.
Interesting.
Secretly a heroic creature.
It is, yeah. And it getting like sometimes with heroic, your problem is like you miss in like you deal your damage in chunks.
Yep.
So sometimes you just miss. Like you're a couple points short, and this guy kind of like ties the room together.
He does.
I'm doing it. We're doing it for the fans.
Oh dear.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Liam?
8, yeah. All right, well, this is good. This makes me feel good about I get to concede here.
Hold on.
Oh no.
We've got to do it for the people, Liam.
All right, 18, 22. I can block 3 of it. All right. You got me. All right, well, I think this was a very sweet, quick showing of some new aggressive cards. The aggressive cards are my favorite from the Final Fantasy set, I think. But we'll definitely have more content like this coming for you. If you want to see more of either of these decks, maybe playing against something that's a little bit more in the meta, although green-red is in the meta, I should say.
Yeah, I did play it yesterday or on Monday, so you know it's somewhere in the meta.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks for the fast games, Trent.
Yeah, nice quick under half an hour.
Just fired out there. You can
3
watch
games.
this video on your lunch break.
Totally. All right. Well, if you liked this content, please leave us a subscribe or a like. Also, comment down below what you think the Final Fantasy cards you're most excited for are. I know we might have done something similar in Liam's set review, but now that people have actually gotten to play with the cards, maybe actually leave a comment down below of cards that you've been impressed by. Like, personally, I've been pretty impressed by the Opera Love Song. I think that card is really cool. A Reckless Impulse that also gives you a pump spell, I think is like kind of exactly what this deck wants. But yeah, leave us a comment down below. And then Liam, do you have anything you want to say before we head out?
No, thanks so much for the games. It was fun.
Totally. All right. Have a good one. Peace.